You ever hear a voice so full of soul, it stops you in your tracks? But wonder what that voice had to survive to sound that way? Gladys Knight isn't just a name in lights or a chorus echoing through history. She's a living, breathing archive of every high and heartbreak a woman can endure, and still get back on stage like nothing cracked her. But behind that strength, there are names she doesn't sing about. Names she barely speaks aloud anymore. Names that didn't just hurt her, they shaped her. It all started with Jimmy Newman, her first love. The kind that makes your whole body believe in forever, even if you're barely old enough to understand what that really means. Back then, Gladys was just a teenage girl with a big voice and bigger dreams. And Jimmy? He was gentle, steady. The kind of man who held her hand backstage, who told her, "Your singing belongs to everyone. But you're mine." And for a while she believed it. Until life, touring, studios, fame, started pulling her in one direction while Jimmy stayed still. He didn't like the cameras. Didn't want to be seen as Mr. Knight. So he disappeared, not in a dramatic blow-up, but with a kind of silence that burns deeper than shouting. One day she came home from a show and found half his clothes gone. No note. No explanation. Just a baby in one arm and a tour to finish. Imagine trying to belt out soul ballads night after night with a broken heart and a child you're now raising alone. Fans called her a hero. Critics praised her resilience. But nobody saw the nights she cried in hotel bathrooms. Nobody heard her son ask, "Where's Daddy?" while she brushed glitter off her face. Society wanted the image of a strong black woman. But strength doesn't mean she didn't break. It just meant no one gave her permission to show it. Jimmy wasn't just a heartbreak. He was the first wound that never got to scab over. And the worst part? He never even said goodbye. Then came Barry Hankerson. He was different, or at least that's what she thought. He spoke the language of music, of management, of legacy. He promised partnership. And for a while it worked. They married. They had a son. They built something that looked solid from the outside. But behind the scenes, it was paperwork, pressure, and a slow unraveling. Barry was brilliant, no doubt. But he knew it. And that confidence started to twist into control. He didn't just challenge her as a producer. He weaponized their child during the divorce. Suddenly, every hug had to be court-approved. Every bedtime story was under watch. She couldn't even sing to her son over the phone without a lawyer raising eyebrows. She said once quietly, "I hated how love turned into control." And that one line carried the weight of years of legal battles, supervised visits, and being treated like a threat just because she refused to stay silent. Barry didn't break her heart the way Jimmy did. He broke her spirit and made her question the very systems around her. How can a mother who gave the world her voice be told she's unfit to use it at home? By now you'd think she'd be done with love. But love, for Gladys, was always hope stitched into sorrow. And hope walked back in wearing a 1,000-watt smile named Les Brown. He was a speaker. Motivational. Magnetic. The kind of man who made crowds believe in themselves with a single sentence. Gladys thought maybe, just maybe, this time it would be different. That two stars could shine in the same sky without dimming each other. But sometimes being too alike is the problem. They were both leaders, both admired, both always on. Their home wasn't a sanctuary, it was a spotlight. Les brought energy, charisma, ambition. What he didn't bring: stillness, presence, empathy. Not really. She once said, "I don't hate the man. I hate what we thought it was." That kind of soft, persistent disappointment hurts more than rage. Because when someone makes you feel invisible without even trying, that's not just loneliness. That's betrayal in silence. There were no shouting matches, no tabloid scandals. Just two people who never really hurt each other. And after 2 years she walked away, not broken but disillusioned. Because the worst kind of love isn't the one that ends. It's the one that never truly began. And then there was David Ruffin. The voice of the Temptations. The swagger. The mystery. The charm. And the chaos. Their relationship wasn't public, but industry folks knew. They saw the glances, the matching gigs, the long backstage whispers. David was electric. You could fall for him without even realizing it. And Gladys? She did. But David didn't love women, he collected them. He flirted like he was singing. Sweet one minute, gone the next. She'd call his hotel and another woman would answer. He'd skip rehearsals, then show up with a love song just for her. Words that melted every defense until she remembered why she swore she was done with men like him. It wasn't love. It was a loop. A trap of almost. And when she finally cut ties, she did it without fanfare. Just silence. She changed seats at awards shows. Canceled duets. Dodged mentions. Not because she wanted revenge, but because she needed peace. Because some people don't deserve your anger. They deserve your absence. And then came the final wound, not from a partner but from a peer. A collaborator. Norman Whitfield. The genius behind so many Motown hits. The man who gave her, "I heard it through the grapevine." She recorded it first. She lived that song. Every breath, every quiver, was her truth poured into a mic. It was her heartbreak. But Marvin Gaye re-recorded it, and that became the version everyone remembers. Not because he sang it better, but because Norman let him take the spotlight. Quietly, strategically, coldly. Gladys didn't rage. She didn't protest. But every time that song came on the radio, she felt a part of herself being erased. Her version became the other one. And she once said in a tone so soft it could freeze blood, "I gave it soul. He gave it away." That wasn't just about a song. That was about ownership. About being a black woman in a business where your voice was powerful, but never quite powerful enough to protect you from being replaced. Gladys Knight doesn't hate these men out of malice. She hates what they stood for, the way they made her feel disposable. Invisible. Alone. These weren't just heartbreaks. They were erasures of identity. Of voice. Of presence. But here's what makes her legendary. She didn't let any of them define her ending. She kept going. Kept singing. Kept stepping on stage not as a victim but as a survivor. She didn't need a tell-all memoir. She didn't need to clap back on talk shows. Every lyric she ever sang was the story. Every tear she held back became a high note. And now, in her 80s, she still performs, not because she has to, but because music is the one love that never walked out. So if you've ever had your heart broken quietly, if you've ever been told to smile while you were crumbling, if you've ever been erased from your own story, just remember Gladys. She never begged for apologies. She just made damn sure she was never forgotten. And if this journey through her unspoken truth moved you, don't scroll away just yet. Hit that like button, share your favorite Gladys song in the comments, and subscribe if you want more stories that go beyond the spotlight and into the soul. Because behind every icon is a human who bled to be heard. And Gladys Knight, she still sings. Because even after the silence, the song remains.